It's 8 o'clock. Welcome back to CTV Morning Live in hour 3 of the program. A look at our top stories. Right now, a man is dead after an early morning crash in Bell's Corners. Emergency crews were called out to Westcliff and Robertson Road just before 1:30 this morning. They found a 28-year-old man trapped inside his vehicle without vital signs. The victim's name has not been released. The road had been closed but reopened this morning as rush hour began. Meanwhile, in the south end of the city, a ceiling collapsed at a community center sent 3 people to hospital. The seniors were square dancing at the Canterbury Community Center last night when part of the ceiling dropped. 2 women and a man were taken to hospital and treated for cuts and bruises. Spending cuts being recommended to lift Ontario out of its $16 billion debt. The Drummond report calling for sweeping changes. With more on what this means for you, here's reporter Melissa Lamb. Melissa?
Well, Kurt, the report is calling for everyone to share the pain. 362 recommendations with major cuts to education and health care. Economist Don Drummond tabled his report yesterday. He says if drastic measures aren't taken, Ontario's debt could balloon to more than $30 billion by 2017. The report proposes major changes to the way Ontario spends, including cuts to education. Now, here is a closer breakdown of those changes. Have bigger classrooms, increasing the class size, cut 9,700 non-teaching jobs, make teachers work longer by increasing their teaching retirement age, cut 25% of school supplies funding. Now, this includes sports and recreation, and cut full-day kindergarten. Now, the news is upsetting to many in the education system.
The number of EAs in our schools is already quite limited. We would work with anything that the province gave us, of course, but we would prefer flexibility in terms of any cuts that are made.
Now, full-day kindergarten, which was a proposed cut, is McGuinty's baby, so the Liberals have already made it clear that it won't be cut. And again, these are just recommendations. The government has to decide what changes will be made. Kurt?
Thanks very much, Melissa Lamb, reporting live in our newsroom this morning. The warm weather taking its toll on outdoor activities here in the nation's capital. The city has closed outdoor skating rinks, and now the Rideau Canal Skateway has been shut down because of poor ice conditions. The closure comes as the capital gets ready to celebrate the final weekend of Winterlude. A milestone for the Harper government. It finally achieved its goal of scrapping the long gun registry. The House of Commons voted 159 to 130 in favor of getting rid of the registry, and the Conservatives say it only penalized hunters and farmers. The Coalition for Gun Control argues that without the gun registry, police will have a harder time tracing firearms. That bill will now go to the Senate, where a Tory majority means it will likely pass. Today, a British Columbia judge will decide the fate of the first person convicted in last summer's Stanley Cup riot. Ryan Dickinson admitted to trashing an unmarked police car and vandalizing a store last June. He was part of a large mob that rioted in downtown Vancouver after the Canucks lost to the Boston Bruins in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Dickinson faces up to 18 months behind bars. His lawyers are arguing for a 1-year sentence. A small funeral will be held for singer Whitney Houston, but fans around the world will be able to watch the service on the internet. The service will be held Saturday at New Hope Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey. And yesterday, Houston's publicist announced that an Associated Press camera will be allowed at the funeral. That footage will be streamed live on the web. 48-year-old Grammy winner died last Saturday at a hotel in Beverly Hills.